with me today, my name is Faizal. I'm the head of the Visibility Unit, Faculty of Medicine. I have with me Dr. Amir, the live streaming director for visibility, as well as Dr. Lam Chee Long, who is our clinical lead for our clinical symposium for breakfast at UMH. Right. So we have three portions of today's um, uh, webinars. Number one, I will be presenting on the role of visibility unit, Faculty of Medicine, and then I will pass the microphone as well as the webinar to Dr. Lam Chee Long, who's gonna brief all of you and update us on the evolution of clinical symposium to breakfast at UMH. And then after that, Dr. Shams will take over the microphone and to discuss on the technicality as well as perhaps review of the top 10 most viewed breakfast at FOM and UMH. Okay, so I will. Okay, so let me introduce the visibility unit, Faculty of Medicine. Um, the, the history started with the foundation of the Faculty of Medicine in 1965 with the Medical Illustration Unit. So this unit previously has the role to document the clinical photos, provide documentation for teaching and learning. When all the informations are in hardbound papers and uh, it's very manual. So with the invention of um, digital media, the unit has been disbanded and it was divided into multimedia, IT department, photography service, website, and so on. So in 2018, we have a discussion and we try to merge all this unit again under the visibility unit. And our role is to provide ways and facilitate the visibility of Faculty of Medicine on the virtual space. So this unit is under the purview of the Dean as well as the Deputy Dean of Development. And in this team, we have three academicians led by me and then helped by the social media coordinator, Associate Professor Dr. Nadia Atia from microbiology. And we have academics who have interest in e-learning and teaching. Dr. Shams Amir from orthopedic. So he uses his IT technical skills and know how to lead the live streaming team. And we also have event managers, one Nur Zahra, who will manage all the events in the Faculty of Medicine. We have a website manager as well as designer, Encik Muhammad Hadi. We have two photographers, Encik Abdul Rahman and Puan Nur Azah. And we have a person who can do to print out all the hard copy teaching and learning materials for undergraduates and postgraduates. So the presence of Faculty of Medicine in virtual space, we have our own website, medicine.um.edu.my. We also have started our Facebook and Instagram with the username Medicine U Malaya. So for both Facebook and Instagram, and we have posted all the videos that we had recorded on the Faculty of Medicine YouTube. So you can search Faculty Perubatan Universiti Malaya on YouTube. you can do the usual stuff, click subscribe, and to get updates for all the videos that is being posted there. So our services is, number one, mainly hedged on the event management and consultation service, because with this event we can increase the visibility by putting promotion materials on the social media and get some engagement with other researchers from all over the world. So we use live streaming service and photography service for documentation, and we have staff who can help you design posters and bunting if necessary. So, as I mentioned just now, the visibility activity hedged heavily on event management service. So, whenever that there's an event planned by, for example, internationalization unit under the research office, so they will organize a series of webinars, and we will facilitate the um, production, the IT production and live streaming production from our side, and we'll provide um, the platform um, to social media. And behind all the scenes, we have technical team, logistic, the photography, and the designer. So um, it's heavily hedged on the event management service. So this year, for the past 4 months, we have a total of 81 events. So it's about one event every other day. And that is how heavy the load that we have. And I think we can do more. Um, and 70% of these events are an actual event, and one third of it actually trial, like for example webinar. If you are organizing international webinars, you want to make sure that the network from our side, as well as from the our partner from overseas, from other institution, are able to see, and we can talk to their technical team and provide some helps, and hopefully that webinars that can happen a day or a few hours after that will go on successfully. And again, this live streaming service, the objective is to provide an alternative platform, since we cannot have physical meetings during COVID area. So we started the service somewhere in May and June last year, and we uses the Wednesday CME as our experimental bid. So we use this as a hybrid platform, and we gain knowledge from um, organizing these events. So at this point of time, if you follow our faculty events and email threads, we have organized several Shahan Perdana. We can do live streaming in TJ Danaraj Auditorium. We can have a live streaming from the Bilik faculty right now. And we have experience with Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom. And we have all the technical expertise to advise you on your future events. So um, we we try to experiment few live streaming platform, and we found that by streaming to YouTube, we can achieve two goals. Number one, we have a live audience which we can actually stream simultaneously to Facebook, and YouTube live streaming allows us to record simultaneously for posterity. So that's why you can see most of our streaming is directly to the Faculty of Medicine YouTube channel. And there's an evidence here to show that how we prefer Zoom. About 90% of the academics prefer Zooms, then Microsoft Teams, followed by Google Meet and WebEx. So the Faculty of Medicine have purchased a webinar license we can hold on for, which we can organize for 500 audience, this as well as a large meeting for 500 people. So we have the facilities. Our last couple of days, there's nursing webinars who have about 1,000 participants who are interested in joining the events. However, we have a limitation of 500 participants, but it's a rare occasion, but uh, we have the capacity. And I just want to show you the highlight to you how we have evolved in terms of webinars and the design. This is during the experimental phase. We are testing few things here, and now we have a format with a good design and template that we can reuse this for our future Wednesday Symposium. Now we have rebranded to Breakfast at UMHealth. So Dr. Lam Chee Long will explain to you on the journey of this evolution, and we would love for all of you to join this Wednesday Symposium. And these are just to highlight the international webinars that we help to facilitate, like the monthly CGMH webinars. About a week ago, we have photon radiation therapy for neurology and oncology. And last Friday, we have intrathecal baclofen with Prof. Saltuari, who's speaking from Austria. So we have a team, we have the equipment, we have invested quite heavily on this unit for us to hope to organize and handle Sharan Perdana webinars and live streaming. And our future aim is to have a unified universal studio for the Faculty of Medicine. I think we should focus on to have a central facility rather than independent studio unit for a department or for a research unit, because I think we can pool our money, we can pool our resources, our technical skill, to have a universal studio, central facility for teaching and learning. We can record our undergraduate teaching and learning and how to take clinical examination in the future. So I think this is the way forward. I hope we can do this in the next couple of months or years, so that we can hedge on the um, um, on this AV production. So we would like you all to let us know earlier if you want to book live streaming slots, because, like, for example, today we have booked 8 to 9 for our technical team, and the IT managers need to slot in the licenses if you need to use that. Okay, so the photographers, we have online digital archive system. If you ask for a photography service, your photos will be available on the web browser, and you can log in and select the photos that you prefer for your own documentation. And we also have collaboration with Zaba Library, where they archives all of our old photos. You can search ummemory.edu.my, and if you notice that the most contribute we are the biggest contributors to the archive, Faculty of Medicine, University Malaya Medical Center, and you can review all the old photos, how the students live and breathe in this faculty previously. So we have social media. Please don't forget. I know all of you um, uh, in social media platform. So whenever you want to tag University Malaya Faculty of Medicine, you can search Medicine U Malaya. Be friend with us, and you will get notification for all the new videos or new events. Yep. And I will pass the slide to, I'll pass the floor to Dr. Lam Chee Long, who's going to continue on the evolution of um, UMH, breakfast at UMH.
Thanks very much, Faizal, for that initial introduction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about the Wednesday Symposium Committee and how that has evolved into Breakfast at UMHealth, and how we work behind the scenes to plan and schedule the sessions that you attend on a weekly basis. So behind the scenes, there's an advisory committee. This used to be the Wednesday Morning Symposium Committee, comprising Professor Y.K. Chan, Professor Asma, who is retiring or has retired very recently, but I'd just like to acknowledge her support and assistance in running these sessions. In addition, there's Professor Norita and Professor Vali from the Departments of Primary Care Medicine and Obs and Gynae. And behind the scenes, we also have a secretariat that is one Nurhayati Ishak, and she's very instrumental in coordinating between the planning side and the visibility unit in terms of getting the posters out. She also liaises with the research management unit in order to get CPD point approvals for the sessions. And I will talk a little bit more about that in time. So the Wednesday Symposium has been running for a very long time. I've been involved in this organizing aspect since 2017, and it has evolved quite extensively from then until 2020. And in a way, it was before my time in joining and the people who have been here for much, much longer. And thanks very much, Professor Lucy Lam, for being here, and Professor April. You probably remember the Wednesday Symposium far better and what it used to be like. And from what I understand, it used to be a thriving meeting on Wednesday mornings where clinicians from all departments would join in, and this would be a focal point of continuing professional development within our faculty and hospital. Different people could meet, you could remain abreast with the current issues in medicine. And sometimes it's very enlightening knowing what different people are able to do, or getting updates on conditions that we used to learn about and hear about when we used to be in medical school. It was an opportunity to promote teamwork, to network with other people, discuss patient care, have debates and discourse just about management and situations. And it was an opportunity as well to collaborate and maybe form ideas and about research. And in a way, this was one of the last sessions, COVID-19, before the pandemic hit us, and it was one of the best attended sessions as well, historically. But as you know, COVID subsequently hit us, and we are kind of heading towards our next wave now at the moment. And when we initially went to the RMCO, that was a time when we felt that it needed to be relaunched. And I have to say thank you very much to Prof. Faizal, because we gave the Wednesday Symposium a bit of a rethink and a rebrand, and it was relaunched subsequently as Breakfast at FOM. And the initial idea behind it was that perhaps we could, in addition to being a symposium, it could maybe be run something like a morning talk show where people could tune in and listen a little bit to certain things or developments in medicine that would have broad appeal to all. So this was the second session when it relaunched as Breakfast at FOM by Professor Rusdi from Psychological Medicine, when he spoke about drug use and toxicity and decriminalization of that. And as you know, it is now breakfast at UMHealth, and many thanks to the whole team from Visibility and the contributors to these sessions for making it what it is now. It certainly has more public visibility being on streaming platforms such as YouTube, and we hope that it may help raise the profile of a university as well, both locally, regionally, and internationally as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about the scheduling for breakfast at FOM, just to give you an idea what happens behind the scenes. And I know sometimes for certain departments, it can feel quite burdensome that you are asked to do a certain number of sessions a year. And the way this is normally done is we usually look at the number of academic staff that are present in each department, both clinical and preclinical, as a gauge to see how many sessions to allocate to each department in turn. So we have preclinical, the preclinical side, like molecular medicine, physiology, anatomy, and all clinical departments are usually involved. And the department that usually takes on the most is usually Department of Medicine, because that is pretty much the largest department in our faculty. In addition, following our rethink and relaunch, we also invited the Faculty of Dentistry to be involved and the Faculty of Pharmacy, because with grant applications nowadays, it is important that we have multidisciplinary and inter-faculty collaborations. So it's really good to hear what they do in order that we may be able to form links with them and bridges in order to do more work in the future. In addition, we've also invited central laboratories like the research laboratories, Biobank, the Animal Experimentation Unit, and Centauri, the Center for Advanced Radiological Imaging and Investigations, to share a little bit about what they do as well, so that attendees at breakfast at FOM may know what resources are available in our faculty and what possibilities there are, so that we can link up, as mentioned earlier, and work together more. We also invite the quality department at UMMC and Merdu as well to be involved in these sessions, because medical education is a backbone, and one of our core objectives is to deliver education both to undergraduates and postgraduates. And quality is mainly about quality improvement and how we can do things better in the hospital. So when we talk about content for breakfast at FOM, today, aside just being an introduction to what we are doing behind the scenes, we usually hope and aim that whatever talks are delivered may have broad appeal to the entire audience of the Faculty of Medicine, and in future dentistry and pharmacology as well. Simply because if there is a talk on a very niche, narrow area, there may not be as broad applicability to everyone else. And now that we have online visibility, more so that it should be of broad appeal to all. And usually the audience this is pitched to involves postgraduate trainees and specialists and consultants, but oftentimes more so that we have started online streaming nowadays, our undergraduate students are also joining our sessions and tuning into what is on offer. So we would like the content to be available and appeal to all. So just to share some things that have happened in the last year, I think sometimes there are discussions relating to cases. So Dr. Tan Sian Hui shared about foreign bodies in ENT, and with a case as a background to that. And we've got updates on from different specialties as well. So sometimes, wow, I find it very eye-opening that we hear of new things that people can do nowadays. So Prof. Siva shared on complex thoracic oncology and what they can do nowadays in surgery, as did Professor Kartini on COVID imaging in eyes and the application of artificial intelligence behind that. Some of our better sessions also involve multidisciplinary management. And this is really the future of healthcare, isn't it? We can't work within our own fields and specialties of our own, and we need to link up with others and work together for the patient benefits. So these are two examples of with the geriatric team and surgery and cardiology and different specialties, anesthesiology, rehabilitation medicine, all working together to try to push the boundaries of colorectal care surgery and to optimize outcomes from hip fractures and improving the management of the patients behind the scenes. Some of the sessions focus on research and awards. So I really look forward to the annual sessions by the neurosciences um, departments, where they share the publications, and it's really inspiring and innovative to see how they work through the science and application of uh, basic science to and research to improving patient care and developments. So Prof. Norlina shared on visualization of lipid landscape in brain tumors, and that was really interesting, as did Professor Ong. The sessions are also sometimes used to celebrate commemorative days. So this was a session we had earlier this year during World Cancer Day. There were a series of events planned by oncology during the entire month. So they shared on the City Cancer Challenge. In addition, World Kidney Day was celebrated, World AIDS Day was celebrated, World Hospice and Palliative Care Day was commemorated. So it's an opportunity, if your department or division has something along these lines to share, by all means use the Breakfast at FOM session to tell us a little bit more about your specialty and what you do. And if it doesn't, if the slot you get doesn't fall on the day, please get in touch with us and I'll share an email later so that we can try and rearrange the schedule in order that these days can be accommodated. We'll try our best to anyhow, because there are so many days. If you look up a calendar, what world day there is each day. There are sessions on innovation, and the Odyssea team shared a little bit on organ donation in Southeast Asia, and it was really eye-opening, as did Professor Ho. He talked about immunotherapy a few weeks back, and yeah, I find it really interesting that the things that can be done nowadays and how the basic science, how innovations have come through in order to improve cancer treatment. But understandably, there's still challenges with cost and availability nationally. In addition, if you have colleagues internationally, others, leaders in their fields who want to talk about areas that would be of broad appeal to our entire faculty, by all means, we are open to them. So Sister Martina comes and speaks to us every couple of years on her humanitarian work with Médecins Sans Frontières. We had Dr. Timothy Williams talking about malaria, and there was a really interesting session about finding needles in haystacks. And if you want to look at these sessions, they're available on our website, and Dr. Shamsul will tell more about it, the YouTube Faculty of Medicine website. This was by a speaker from UKM, and that was Professor Firdaus. So I think in a way we are only limited by our imagination and thoughts to reach out and see how others could enrich our faculty more in sharing at our Breakfast at UMHealth sessions. So there are many other sessions that have been conducted, and I would really like to say a very big thank you to all the speakers and all the chairpersons who have helped run the sessions and informed us a lot more about their fields of practice and the things that they can do nowadays in their own individual specialties and divisions. So before I finish, just a few points. We normally try to release schedules 2 to 3 months before cycles. So in a way, we have a schedule up to June this year, and we are finalizing the schedule from July onwards, having incorporated the Faculty of Dentistry and Faculty of Pharmacy, so that not all the sessions need to be taken on by the Faculty of Medicine. So they tend to be really some time beforehand, and normally this is really for the benefit of all the attendees. I can really only appeal to the speakers and the departments who are responsible that we need to apply for MMA CPD points at least 1 month before the sessions. So if we don't get the applications and it runs too late, then everyone who attends does not get their CPD points, despite our trying. So the advisory committee, as well as Puan Nurhayati, do not enjoy chasing everyone to submit this information and details. None of us enjoy this at all, and it impacts all the attendees. So I would only appeal that if your department is scheduled and your name is put down, please try to give us the information on the talks, however brief, so that we can get the CPD point approvals. And if you want to request slots to share on breakfast at FOM, email Puan Nohrayati or email myself, and we'll try to find you a slot in order that we can hear what you have to say. So before I finish, I would say suggestions are most welcome because we want these sessions to improve. Like I said, maybe some future sessions can be a morning talk show where we interview different members of our faculty or dentistry or pharmacy, or just have a roundtable talk about things that may be of interest to everyone. And as mentioned earlier, some of the sessions are topical. So we had a COVID session, which was very topical at the time. And as I said, it was one of the best attended. And our other very well attended sessions were sessions hosted by the Medical Protection Society, where they talked about medical legal issues in medicine, as well as when the MMA came and spoke to us about CPD points, the previously the Wednesday Symposium the clinical auditorium on level 2 was packed to the brim. So if we can improve, and there is much room for improvement always, please let us know. And if you can help on the advisory committee as well, that will be most welcome, I would say. So with that, I'm going to stop here and hand over to Dr. Shams from the Department of Orthopedics, and he will tell us a little bit more about some of the viewing figures and happenings within the Breakfast at UMHealth sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lam. So I'm just going to go briefly to show what we have done so far. My name is Shams Amir. I'm from the Department of Orthopedic Surgery. I'm with the Visibility Unit coordinating the breakfast at UMHealth. So as you can see, we started off with the symposium, as mentioned earlier. We went on to breakfast at FOM, and then now we're at breakfast at UMHealth. So our last symposium was on the 11th of March. And then on the 16th of March 2020, we were given the news of COVID landing into our country, and we had to stop all physical face-to-face activities. So for about a period of 5 months, we were actually in the process of fighting COVID. So we did not actually continue with our weekly symposium. So in August, we started with the first online webinar where we started using Microsoft Teams. So at that time, we used Microsoft Teams live event because it was readily available and already subscribed by the university. And I'm sure that many of you by now would be very familiar with using Teams. But the biggest problem we recognized at that time was there was actually a 20-second lag whenever a speaker speaks and when the audience actually hears the content online. So a lot of times we had issues with audio, but we could only address this like 1 or 2 minutes into the talk. So this is a graph. On the x-axis, you can see the dates. On the y-axis, you can see the number of unique views. So we started off on the 5th of August over here. Then during this time, we were using Microsoft Teams live event. I put the number as 50 because using the live events, we were unable to capture the number of people who actually log into and tune into our webinar. We had the numbers, the system did generate some data, but it was very haphazard and not easily viewed. So beginning on the 14th of October onwards, we have been using the Zoom webinar platform. So during this period, you can see that the numbers were not that stimulating, although it was quite okay because we had at least an average of about 50 to 100 people. But the peaks were actually certain topics that interested more people. So here on the 18th of November, we actually what made this rise in numbers was because we realized that we needed to reach more people who are working in the faculty in the hospital. So we reached out to the University of Malaya Jabatan Perhubungan Korporat. So we started including the mailing list of our hospital staff. So since then, we noticed the rise in the numbers, as you can see here, after the 18th of November. The Facebook page for our hospital is also sharing whenever our speakers give consent for their talks to be publicized in our social media. So you can see the top 10 are the ones at the peaks here. I will show you a list after this, just to show the different topics that were talked about. And you can see the green line here is the 100th viewer number, and majority of our talks after we started including the hospital mailing list were above 100. Unfortunately, sometimes we do have last minute cancellations due to unforeseen circumstances. So when people pull out, so our audience also drop. So here, around this time, sometime in February, we realized that our students were not aware that we were organizing these weekly events. So we actually started reaching out to them. We included them into our mailing list. We've also reached out to their student body, as they also have their own social media and promotion committees. So we actually asked them to help to publicize to our medical students. And also around this time, we started to approach the other different faculties, like the Faculty of Dentistry and Pharmacy, to also include more content to make to increase our audience and also our reach. So you can see we had a total of 21 different sessions in 2020, and today we are the 17th session in 2021. So this is the setup we have at the moment in Bilik Faculty. So sometimes we have requests where a particular session consists of people talking about the same topic. So they actually request to be sitting in the same room. So we have actually converted our part of the Bilik Faculty, because it's actually has quite a good audio setup, and also the camera is already in place, and we don't need a lot of movement of equipments. And again, doing it online is very easy. As you can see here, you can even sit in center point. You can be at home. You can be anywhere. You can even put up a virtual backdrop, if you don't want people to see where you are. Okay, so our top 10. So this is actually the data generated by the Zoom webinar. You can see here, this is the number of unique views that we get. So we actually now know how many people are viewing, joining into the session. Of course, if a person logs in using 2 or 3 different emails, each one will be considered as one unique view. You can see down here as well, the emails are logged, and also the time they are in the session. So we actually know, we can find out if you want to. For example, here you can see that this person here was only in for a period of only 2 minutes out of the entire uh, 90 minutes of the session. So these are the top 10. You can see the ones I highlight in green are the ones that are held in conjunction with either a national or international event. And as I think an audience pointed out, that yes, some topics, when it appeals to a larger audience, or when a topic consists of a multidisciplinary group of people, there is an increased number in audience, as more people feel that they can learn or get something by joining in. So apart from what we see concurrently, so you can see here, for the top, the one with the top view, we had 228 unique views. But concurrently, meaning at any one point of time during the entire session, there was a maximum of 178 people who tuned in together. So maybe these are people not who are in their clinic, doing their clinical work in the OT or in the clinics just before they start. They just tune in for a while, then they log out for a while and maybe even come back later. Some actually go on the YouTube to catch on where they left off. we can see that these are the numbers based on the YouTube viewers. So again, the numbers are not as much as what you would see if people were tuning in live. But I think this is a good example for those who speak. They can actually have their talks recorded and they can keep this for future use as well. So this is number two, unique views and concurrent views. Number three, number four and number five, six and seven, eight and nine, and number 10. So this is our YouTube channel. As you can see that at the moment we have 600 odd subscribers. So all our majority of our sessions are posted up after we get consent. So Prof. Nadia Atia from microbiology, she actually reaches out to all the speakers in advance, getting consent prior to actually allowing us to put it up. We have had some panelists who prefer not to have the session recorded, but they agree to having the talks promoted online. So again, all this, we are still in the learning process. I think that we are doing way better than when we started. The topics are also better. So where do we go from here? So again, I think some of the things uh, need to be talked about. Like I think Dr. Lam did bring up the point about CPD points. So we do appeal to people who are to the speakers who have been approached to come back to us early. And if you can't make it, it's good to tell us early so we can try and arrange to get somebody to replace, because it's a requirement by MMA when we want to apply for the CPD points that we need to submit it at least 1 month earlier. Then again, requests. If you have any requests to be on the Wednesday morning session, you can approach Dr. Lam. I think he shared his email earlier. And again, I think the other nice thing about having the channel, a YouTube channel, it is also as an online repository of what you have done. So with that, I pass the mic back to uh, Prof. Faizal. Okay, now.
Right. Um, so there's a lot of potential in this breakfast at UMH platform. We can do mainly we target live webinars so that you can interact with your audience and the audience can ask questions. Like some of you have asked question to us right now. We will address the question in a short while. So the good thing about having a live webinars like this is that the audience can interact with you in a similar fashion like in the traditional Wednesday symposium. And the advantage of the breakfast at FOM initiative is that we can have the webinars recorded and put it online. So those who have missed the event can watch it at their own time. However, they will not get the CPD point. So there's a give and take. If you attend live, you can register for CPD. You can ask question, or if perhaps if you are busy, you can catch the event later on just to get the information. So um, I think we would like to increase our audienceship as well as to um, increase our body of knowledge. That's why we have reached out to the Faculty of Dentistry, Faculty of Pharmacy to share knowledge, and perhaps that will stimulate interfaculty research collaboration. I think that is important because if we can talk about the simple topic that have similar body of knowledge, we can work together and uh, use this platform as a research potential research collaboration. Okay, so Sham, let's address some of the question. Um, right, this first question is to the visibility unit.
what charges, if any, are incurred for using the VU services? Okay, so at this point of time, the faculty management it's still discussing whether we would like to charge the service, but we have not had the final decision yet. But at this point of time, all the services are provided to every faculty members. So we will help you. We will facilitate. If you have a webinar, we can facilitate the link, creating a link. We can help you with your webinar trainings. The only things that we will not do is to organize the event for you. Even though our our one of our unit is event organization, but we cannot organize the event for you, but we can facilitate, provide consultation so that your event will be successful. The only events that the visibility unit are organizing is breakfast at FOM and those by the dean as well as timbalan dekan. Okay, so we are here to help you. So if you have webinars you want to speak to, you want to collaborate with other speakers from other parts of the world, please let us know, and we will help you with that. Okay, there's a comment here. Vetting of contents should be stricter. Updates on common conditions to educate or to celebrate some occasion so that it will be appeal to student, juniors, and senior doctors as well. So I think this is Dr. Lam, want to answer this?
Yeah, thanks very much, Dr. Chong, for that comment. And I think your last comment as well in the Q&A is the same. One of the reasons that people join and leave is the lack of appeal of topics, and the numbers can be deceiving. That's absolutely correct. Rather than look at attendance in each session, should look at attendees from out of department. Yeah, absolutely. Because usually when departments are hosting sessions, they usually inform all their master students and candidates, and they're all encouraged to go. So usually the viewing figures shoot up in that sense. Um, I would say vetting of events. Yeah, I mean, I'm very much open for suggestions because we have a speaker brief that we share with all departments, what the expectations and hopes and the topics covered in breakfast at FOM would involve, at UMHealth will involve. So it does lay out that you have a multidisciplinary audience, nursing, preclinical, clinical sciences, and we certainly ask everyone to bear that in mind when selecting a topic and preparing. The challenge we have is that when you finally have a speaker from a department and they submit a topic which is near 1 month before or too late to get CPD points, it's very difficult for us to say, hey, that topic is not suitable. Please think of something else, because this person already has stepped forward from their own department and has had their name put forward. So I'm afraid I don't have an easy solution to that. I hope that in time, as people are more aware of what breakfast at UMHealth entails, and the online sessions are there to give ideas. The advisory committee is always present to be consulted by anyone from individual departments should they need assistance and support. And sometimes also we encourage the speakers from both sessions. So as you know, sometimes it's a whole 1 hour session with multiple disciplines. Sometimes there are two departments who give half and half, 30 minutes each. Sometimes we encourage them to talk together to see how the topics can be linked so that they can more broadly appeal to others as well. So we would truly like to vet the sessions more, but oftentimes we are limited by time and really the speaker. I think the speaker really needs to have a great awareness and insight that it needs to be of broad appeal.
Okay. I received a suggestion from the dean to increase the audience to medical student, which we actually have not emailed the students because our mailing list was towards the academic staff. We will find a way to include our medical students in our next mailing list, because I know in traditional Wednesday symposium, everybody can come in, including the medical students or dental students. So we will. This is a good point that we will address, and we will try to open up our link towards to the alumni as well as um, mailing list. Okay, so with that, we probably need um, to ed- to make sure that the speakers knows who are their audience, yeah, so that if you're targeting a general public, your the talk should tailor to that level of discussion. So if this is a specialty topics and you want to limit to the to your audience, you want to limit your audience to just a faculty of medicine, just let us know. Or if you have a topic that you think is interesting, but it may infringe some of the research rights, or you want to protect your research, please let us know. Okay, we can publicize the your talk, but maybe we will do it an internal um, link. We have done that before. And please remember that whenever you are doing a talk, if not if must you must not expose any confidential information like patient name, patient scan. Make sure you scan all this before you go and give your talk. Okay.
Just to add to that, Faisal,
Yes.
when Sister Martina shared from her humanitarian work, she had many pictures involving patients from more deprived countries, and the visibility unit managed to edit the videos so that they blurred out the images and patients were no longer identifiable. So that is possible as well, I would say. It entails a little bit more work by visibility, but it's certainly doable by the team anyhow.
Okay. Sham? Okay. Right. So, what we need to do is more participation from all of you. You can contact any of us at the corridor, or if you have WhatsApp, just WhatsApp us, or you can email Dr. Lam directly if you think that this is a week of something and you need to you want to celebrate the, for example, sepsis day or sepsis week. So let us know early, okay, so that we can arrange the schedule um, with and book your CPD point. Okay, Dr. Sham.
So thank you, Prof. Sanjeev, and a few others who also give uh, their comments saying that they've actually enjoyed the Wednesday breakfast at Health sessions. What we've been doing actually is just to try to keep the continuous learning alive. We're trying to get more people visible, because in looking back, we feel I think that COVID in a way has been good to show that we can actually continue to do things in a different way. Maybe we actually had an idea, we were vetting, we were just throwing out ideas between me and Faizal that maybe in the future, as the numbers get better, we can actually do a hybrid session weekly in the clinical auditorium, maybe for some sessions. So these are things that we are thinking about in the future. We really do appreciate your comments. Do reach out to us. We are very, it's quite easy to reach out to us. I think you can email us. We are available on our emails, on social media. So I think, yep, do continue to join our sessions weekly. Back to you, Faisal.
Right. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Lam. Thank you, Shams, for helping us bring uh, revitalizing the Wednesday symposium and rebrand it into breakfast at UMH. We hope that this platform will have a better audience and better outreach to not only in within our faculty, three and other two faculties, to and perhaps around the world. With that, thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.